what's up, fools? This is Hella Horror. This is Grand Marquesian.
With Sirsko.
And we here talking about Latinos, LatinX, whatever you prefer, and the scary movies.
That's right.
We're going to be talking about how Latinos, Chicanos, gangsters, cholos, how they are depicted. Depicted in horror movies. I'm not picking a lot of movies. We just picking up we put our hands in a little trick or treat fucking calabaza and pulled out a few movies, and then we're just gonna talk about those. But let me hit you up and let you know which movie these are real quickly. So we picked one, Return of the Living Dead Part 3. That shit's an old one for a lot of y'all. Old school for us for sure. Released in '93 by Trimark, same shitty ass company that came out with Leprechaun in the Hood. Fucking bullshit. Written by Who Gives a Fuck. It's about some white girl turning into a zombie and her boyfriend's trying to save her, and then the main villains are some homeboys in LA. Yeah. That should be a fun one.
Causing havoc.
And an Asian chick that rolls with them.
Odd.
Yeah. And then you got Planet Terror, made by Robert Rodriguez in 2007. Everybody pretty much knows he wrote Machete, and I don't need to talk any more beyond that. Fuck it. The movie's about some mutant zombies attacking a group of survivors. They fight back, end of the world, that type of shit.
That's a double feature, right?
Yeah, with the what's the name of that? Death Proof.
Death Proof. There you go. Death Proof.
Yeah, the dude with the car. That was a dope movie too.
Yeah, that's Kurt Russell.
Yeah. I love that guy too. We're going to do one about Kurt Russell and horror movies.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
But the main badass dude was like this Latino, greaser-looking dude. Pretty badass.
Yeah, biker style.
Simon. And then we got Suicide Squad. It's not a horror movie. It's a superhero movie, but its villains, became good. But you've got a couple of DC Comics villains like Killer Croc and El Diablo, which we'll really talk about. And then you have the Curse of La Llorona. Pretty much a lot of y'all that are listening, hopefully, know what La Llorona is. And by this point, this movie kind of popularized it as well, or helped popularize it even further. Released in 2019 by James Wan. He's the one that wrote The Conjuring and Annabelle and all those. So this is a part of that whole universe. Interesting to see how far that will get. But this one takes place in 70s LA. About a caseworker that gets a curse put on them, and the bad guy goes chasing after them, trying to steal their kids, wash their hair, some weird shit, and then you got the Mexican Ghostbuster, and we'll talk about him. Yeah, so those are our movies. That's what we're jumping off of, and I know most of y'all are gonna be like, dude, there's a hell of movies, bro. Come on now. We ain't got time for all that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, man.
Either get with the program or get the fuck out of here.
For real.
Your choice.
And
if you don't like it, just get the stepping.
Yeah, so this is where we start off, and let me ask you, Sir Sko, which of these films that we talked about, which one do you think has the worst representation?
Come on, man. I mean, even though I love the Return of the Living Dead franchise, what they did, even it being cheesy and later on movies when they try to reinvent the wheel. But, yeah, that movie, it's all wrong. They did get a character that has been used in later homeboy movies and shit, man, or homie movies, like American Me and such. So they, because that character is in there, or that actor, it kind of gives it a little bit of spice, but overall it's all wrong. It's just
yeah, but that motherfucker's wearing some weird silk shirt.
Yeah, first of all is that, and then his hairdo for the 90s, being the 90s, right? This is the prime era for all that kind of style. But the one that cracked me up is the one that looked like Vicente Hernandez and shit. It looked like they swapped the hat and they put on the fucking tandito, one of those, what do they call them in English?
Fedora heads?
Fedora heads, yeah.
Yeah, it's for a few people don't know what we talk about. There's one scene in the movie where they first introduced the homeboy villains. It's in some liquor store. These motherfuckers, I guess, are spent an hour playing this fucking arcade game.
Street Fighter 2. Yeah. That's what they're playing, Street Fighter 2.
But then they got this Asian girl that's telling the leader, Santos.
Vicente Fernandez, that's what we're going to call him.
Yeah.
Come on, Santos. Woo! Out of here.
Just a few more minutes, Issa.
Said that an hour ago.
If we would have left when you wanted to, he never would have made it to level 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I've never heard of Esa. Have you heard? I personally, I haven't heard it myself personally without any of my friends saying that.
Back
I don't know
then,
how popular that was.
Back then, I mean, I kind of heard it here and there, but it just didn't stick. It was something that it just didn't go with it. But as the times went by, and the chicks started getting involved more heavily in that type of environment, they started kind of using it. But it's like something that was prominent. Like they would use. It was here and there. Yeah. I mean, I don't like it. I didn't rock it. Hell no.
It just looked cartoony. It sounded cartoony. Yeah, and it's, these guys are wasting time, and then eventually, the fucking zombie chick comes in there trying to eat. One dude gets shot, blah blah. Then, she bites one of the homeboys. Yeah,
she bites the dude,
bites him around the hand.
And then the dude says, of course, they're gonna be stereotypical and put a Asian dude behind the cashier. So he comes out with a gun. And then I guess the cholos as they're walking, quote unquote, as they're walking out, one of them goes to steal the money from the register. So that's where the cholos try to take advantage of the chinito situation. and take the fucking pistol from him, and then they doing it from there. It just goes all bad because he ends up getting killed. Right? He accidentally shot himself in the gut. They're wrestling for the pistol, and then ends up getting hit, and then that's when they took off, and that was that scene, which was kind of weird, a weird ass scene. You go from playing Street Fighter 2 arcade games to fucking shooting someone down and taking off. That's beautiful.
And the whole time they're just trying to go on revenge trip and trying to find them.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucker, the dude that she bites, the homeboy, he ends up turning into a zombie.
Right.
After they'll go back and they find him in the fucking sewers.
Yeah.
It went to what the fuck land.
Yeah, it was forced. It was like really forced, I mean, the Spanish wasn't bad. I mean, they kind of, it was kind of there, or the Spanglish, I should say, but otherwise than that, it was, you could tell it was forced. The actors, just the wardrobe wasn't correct. It also shows though, as we go throughout the episode, it's going to show how much they've learned in the sense of it's still wrong, but they're getting the Latino feel to it a little bit better. It's like they keep adding to it. Because a good example is that, the Mark ones. I like the acting and the whole feel to it. So I don't want to give too much away, because we're still on this topic. Yeah, I just felt like it was they could have done a better job.
Half-assed. It was the same motherfuckers that made that Lep in the Hood, and they had the hood all
Trimark.
kind of like
it's fucking Trimark.
Trimark. They did the same shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, fuck them.
Do you remember back when we first saw that movie? I remember we had that shit on VHS.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was working at the video store.
Yeah, and it was the cover was paper, or it was like that thick paper. Remember the sleeves? Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. It was a sleeve that was made out of that paper. I remember that. We used to watch it a lot for some reason. It sucked, but we used to watch it all the time because back then, cable wasn't like hot like it is now. It was either watch.
Motherfuckers say cable. Yeah, but so that was interesting though. Overall, the other movies, they have some goods and bads. But the one thing I want to point out is the Curse of La Llorona, right? Mm-hmm. So that one was about the urban legend of La Llorona. I remember growing up, my uncles and my cousins telling me about it, and obviously being that tale of, better act right, go to sleep early, don't be out at night, late at night, correteando ahí with the other kids, because she's going to steal you away and drown you and kill you, whatever the fuck, right? And she's always near a rio or somewhere, some body of water somewhere. But with this movie, it felt more like an horror action movie with La Llorona. Do you think they treated it right? What are your thoughts?
I mean, of course not. It was another one where, the thing about it is like La Llorona, it's what I understand, it's a Mayan story. So when you try to attempt to borrow a story from a culture that is that old, it's, you're always the one that reads about it, into it, and is trying to learn that culture. You can see where they're using it to glamorize, the horror part to it. So watching it, I had to go in prepare as saying I can't be judgmental in the way where I'm gonna be biased.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a start for incorporating more of a Latino cast, but of course, it ended up being Caucasian female lady who pretty much saves the day.
I think like the character's husband was
he was Latino.
I think he was a Chicano cop because the kids are a little halfies. You can tell.
Yeah, right. So I mean, again, like I said, it is a start to see us more on the screen and seeing us play also as
El Curador.
El Curador, there you go. Yeah, him. That kind of added. I like that how they added that aspect into it and made it. It was more lopsided towards the Latino side, but overall,
we'll talk more about it, homie, for sure.
Yeah,
I kind of felt the same way. I was like, come on, man. And I was hoping for a spookier vibe. I already kind of knew after it came out and all the reviews, bunch of jump scares. Fucking hate that shit.
Well, it
jump
was
scares.
Yeah, but it was also one of those things that they didn't really go through the background story. They just started from a point. And then they made it into a movie. So that's kind of why it doesn't have that extra oomph to it, because you didn't really cover a background story that makes the Llorona. They did, but it was so brief that, you could interpret it in different ways. So, it's they should have put a little bit more thought into it. But when it comes to the graphics,
CG fool.
The CG, well, I don't give a fuck about all that. Man, I draw, I tattoo, so get out of here. Anyhow, but yeah.
One thing I'm gonna plug though is the Shudder, SHUDDER. If you have that, that's like horror movie on demand, like Netflix of horror.
Oh, really?
And on that one, and that one they have La Llorona. It's a movie. I think it's a Guatemalan movie, and that one's got the creepy vibe, and it's based, and it has that really heavy Mayan influence. They have even it's even about a Mayan village that gets where they get killed. It's almost like genocide, and it's kind of a revenge curse type of thing. But if you guys had time, check it out. I heard it was hella good. I haven't had time to watch that shit, but
Which one? The other one?
La Llorona.
The other version? Okay, yeah.
But one of these days we'll check it out, homie.
Well, this one is part of the whole franchise of the
Conjuring.
The Conjuring. So
that first one scared the shit out of me. I was like, ooh, I like that one. But each movie had like a specific character that popped out, right? That was kind of like the Chicano or the Latino based character. Obviously, we talked about Santos from Return of the Living Dead 3, Vicente Fernandez with the fedora. Oh yeah, we even forgot to talk about how that fool gets dusted. Or in the sewer, so he goes toe to toe with the zombie chick. By this point, she's got like fucking glass sticking out her hands and fucking pieces of shrapnel all over the place. But anyway, she goes toe to toe with this dude, kills him off screen. You don't see how she kills him, but she comes out with like his head, like his spine hanging from his head. It looked weird. Oh
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She's like, I don't even know how to describe it.
He looked like a small version of in Terminator 2 when the other Terminator, what is he? The metal guy, the one who
T-1000.
T-1000. Remember how he got blown up with the shotgun and he's like, Arr! He's like half, hanging halfway. Yeah, man, that's how he looks. Just with the spine though.
Yeah, it was a spine in the head, and because he turned into a zombie too, and he's like, and they're like, everyone's freaking out, and
it's 1993.
The Asian chick gets eaten by the homeboy zombie.
Yeah,
it's just a fucking mess. But that's how he gets done.
It's the other dudes, the homeboy's name from the one who's actually Latino or who's also Latino is what's his name was Pablo.
I forgot what it was.
Anyhow,
and he gets choked out or something. I forgot what the fuck happens.
Like that, yeah, who gives a fuck?
But then and then we got El Curador. Rafael is the character's name in La Llorona, but his real name is what is it? Raymond some shit.
Oh,
Raymond
in the movie. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, he plays Chewie in Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the same dude.
¿Conoces a mi carnalito Chuy Saavedra?
¿El Chuy? Chuy? Es mi carnal.
Yeah.
That's the same dude from Return of the Living Dead.
No, it's not.
Just a younger version.
No, it's not him.
No?
No, guaranteed.
Oh, well, they all look the same. Nah. I can say that because I'm fucking Mexicano, right? Get out, get off my case. Nah, I love my people.
Chewie also played the other dude in one of the dudes in Training Day, where the rookie cop gets left in the house, and they go, "You ever had your shit pushed in there?" And that's right
yeah.
It's right before they kill him. They're just fucking scaring the shit out of him. I was scared. That shit wasn't a horror movie, but if I was sitting in that chair with him and these fools were just like ready to just, something bad's about to happen.
Oh, yeah, man. In the bathroom? Come on, man.
But luckily he got out of that. But anyways, the Curador in the movie, for me anyway, I like that character. When he was put into the film, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. He was like the Mexican Ghostbuster and shit. I was like, oh, he knows, the medicine man. For me, I wish they would have done more with him. Like, he barely talked, which is fine. But every time he talked was like to like give him directions or explain what the hell he did. And half the time in the movie, I was slowing it down and replayed some of the action scenes where he's in. He's just in the background, like watching, like
on the sidelines.
Yeah, he was just on the sidelines watching the whole time, and he show up right before these motherfuckers are about to die. Did he? He almost died, but he didn't. Okay. I was like, oh man. And then the whole thing with the pool, he barely helped, and then he just like,
What did you do?
Your pool is now filled with holy water. La Llorona had no choice but to leave.
Yeah.
It's like he kept doing shit to keep him out, but these fuckers keep messing it up. But it's just I think I would have liked to see more from him. He seemed like a cool character. He was like version of the dude and the wife in like Conjuring.
Yeah.
He's for this family, that's him. But I think they could have given him a little bit more beef to chew on. He just seemed kind of just to show up, and I know it doesn't seem too effective.
No,
he does help them.
I think a lot of it has to do to the casting on it. I like the actor, but I don't think it's a good role for him, because you're right. I remember the dialogue that he had was very, again, forced. Sounded like it was kind of forced, and it was stern versus.
He didn't seem comfortable with this.
No,
like,
he
didn't
seem
confident.
Yeah, he didn't, and I was like, and he just didn't, like I said, have that look of it actually being authentic. So if they would have done that, it would have helped him not have so much of a dialogue and be more of a stern type of
or just seem more in
character.
command.
Yeah, in command. Yeah.
He did, like that character didn't seem to be in command. He was just like, "I'll help you out," and he almost seems like he's figuring it out on the
well,
the fly.
You trying to be careful, man. That's a white lady right there, man. You gotta make sure you don't do nothing wrong. Like, see, the
police come and get him.
You see the popos just be knocking on your door like, hey, come here.
What are you doing, you little gangbanger?
Get over here. What do you got in that pocket? The musk whistles.
I bet you ground that down, smoke with your was it reefer?
No, it's crack.
Damn. Yeah, dude.
Damn.
We love you, Chewie.
Yeah,
we love you.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm sure we'll see him in one of these other movies because he's part of the universe now.
But is it worth the time to watch it?
What, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, I watched it as I was putting up my notes for this and preparing everything.
Damn.
Yeah, because it's all jump scares. It didn't feel.
Nah.
It didn't feel fresh. It didn't feel original.
But even
though.
Now I was gonna say, kind of talk about since I didn't get to really watch it all the way through. I did watch it when it first came out. I did go watch it at the movie theaters. Since you kind of watched it recently, talk about the Llorona. How does she look like?
Well, I like the makeup and stuff. They definitely made her demon. Mm-hmm. They went for the demon, but like in the Conjuring universe, they kind of been going big on the demon look, because like the Conjuring universe is about demonology and demons. So they made her. I like the look. I mean,
just white gown.
The
skin is more of a darker tone,
her face. Yeah, her skin looks all like it's all gray, like no blood, and then she has like black tears like just streaking all over her face, and then she got the yellow and black eyes and like nasty ass teeth, like she hasn't brushed her teeth in a minute. Ugh.
Damn.
She probably got some badass breath.
She got ass breath.
Ew, dragon breath.
Who you talking to?
Dragon breath.
I'd have been like, yo, here's a Mentos. Back off, biatch. Or before we start, you'd be like, hey, can you brush your teeth real quick before we get down?
I remember.
Nasty.
I remember this one dude I used to know. His wife. He used to tell people they got ass wipe breath, and I was like, damn, that's just bad. Ass wipe breath. That's just don't say that. Anyhow, it's they're always going to do a good job when it comes to those type of characters when they're demonized that way. That kind of makes it to where it grabs some of your attention because of the demon character that they have behind that whole story.
It is what it is, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're a fan of the Conjuring universe, or if you have that interest in it, then yeah, just check it out. Just like Annabelle, they're not really great movies. Conjuring 2, the third, The Nun, all that stuff, right?
Some shit you put on when you're bored, it's good enough.
I mean, if you're just chilling, just put on something, whatever. It's not gonna fuck with your sleep.
You're being a negative Nancy. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yo, mama.
All right, so.
And then there's El Diablo in Suicide Squad.
And have you heard of the pyrokinetic homeboy?
What you think about him, bro? What you think about him?
He's cool. I like it. Again, a little forced, but otherwise than that, it was done where it went with the character. It did get you pumped. I don't, the movie's okay. I actually didn't mind the movie. I know it got bad reviews and people talk bad about it, but I kind of liked it. It was entertaining. And introducing him, I just don't like how they introduced him. I would have liked to seen a little more of a grimier background, just because of the name. When names are being given out in the hood, is because it resembles something, and they try to do that, right? Right. But it's cool. I can live with it. But I like the character itself. I really liked how they made him look. I like that they put tattoos on him, that the tattoos actually look somewhat authentic. Yeah, it's another I'll give it 5 Kool-Aid points.
5 Kool-Aid points. Fuck that. Give it 10. I liked him a lot. Yeah, I thought he was dope as fuck. The thing is, I like how he was part of a superhero movie, and it's this type of guy that you don't see in other movies. You probably never will. Mm-hmm. He was a bad dude, and you see, like you said, his background, just like the other characters, it's just kind of rushed. But he's so dope and all that stuff.
Well, look, this is where I don't really like. I do like the character. The thing is, I don't like how he killed his kids. That right there is, I think they could have left that out. That's where I don't like that story, because it's, I don't know. It's just, I guess they use it so they can make him soft in the end, type of thing. Not soft, but have that attitude where I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do nothing because what I did,
Yeah, they could have done it differently, where they were killed in the process of him defending himself. Mm-hmm. Like all the cops that came up on him. Maybe that's what sets him off to do the blast, rather than him doing the blast and burning his kids and his wife.
Well, you know why too, though. Why it all started, because his wife was telling him don't do something, and he gets mad that he ends up killing them. I go, what? I didn't like that part of it. That was the only aspect I didn't like out of his whole character buildup. But he's an awesome character. Yeah, you're right.
And that's the kind of character I'd like to see a movie on. Mm-hmm. Something better than, I didn't even see that Chicano movie, but something better than
that's I'm sorry to say, but that's not a good movie. They could have done way better. It didn't make it on the list because of that reason.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But what El Diablo turns into, that's the best fucking part. They make him look into like a warrior.
So kids, El Diablo, so this guy, we didn't even tell you exactly what he's all about. So he has the ability to create fire and control fire and just burn the shit out of everything and anything. This dude's super powerful. I mean, that motherfucker's the shit. And at the end, like he was saying, he sacrifices himself. He goes all out, full on fire, and turns into like an Aztec warrior,
emperor,
fucking fire god, emperor god. And he goes toe to toe against like like the one of the big bad guys. He ends up burning out. He burns himself out. You know, he uses so much power, but he looks so cool. It looks so fresh. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, that's like the favorite part for me of the whole movie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I was like, man, that looks so sick. Like,
because the feathers and everything, how they made it look, it's all like everything was fire. He's like a fireball.
Yeah. And he was like skeleton, and then like as the fires went down, all you saw was the skeleton, rather than just the fire was like his muscle. It was
a lot
awesome.
like it reminded me like high intense Ghost Rider type of feel to it, because it was so it has that story behind it, but then when he turns into it, it's you enjoy it because it's so, like you were saying, different. It's something that has not been done that way, and so I'm glad they got it right when they did it. Of course, there's going to be some things off, but overall, when you look at it, you can resemble that it's tied back into the ancient Mexican culture. So
and the character, it was dope. And I think a big part of how that character was portrayed and how the look of it and everything and how he talked, I think it has a lot to do with David Ayers. So he made the movie. He's also wrote and directed other movies like Harsh Times with Christian Bale, where he plays like a white homeboy, right? Trying to figure things out. Street Kings with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay.
That's a cop movie. Dirty Cops and cop movie in East LA. Training Day. Obviously, we just talked about that.
Yeah.
End of Watch.
Oh, End of Watch
the
too.
Two cops.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And he grew up as a teen in South Central, as a teenager. He saw a lot of the Chicano culture and the gang culture. So you can see how that is reflected in the movies he's made. Like just the movies I mentioned. And he does others. Some of the actors he uses. He tries to pick actors that can portray that. That's to the success of El Diablo. But, nothing's perfect.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
It's possible.
That was dope.
Yeah, the End of Watch when I watched that one, I liked that movie. It wasn't bad. At first I was like, I don't want to watch no cop movie, but my son actually, Juan 7, he actually put it on and we watched it, and it was intriguing. What he's done with the characters, but the Mark ones,
The Mark one's kids. That one's about it's like I think the last movie in the Paranormal Activity movies in that universe. With the one about the ghosts, and then eventually, the first movie is just the ghost and possesses the girl. She kills her husband. Blah blah blah. And kind of you see that whole story unfold in a bunch of movies because it's the same family and it's about witches and the coven and all that shit. And then eventually, these characters had nothing to do with that white family. Right, so the witch's coven that ties into one of the ladies that dies in that apartment, the one that they call the bruja, and Anna, and so you got these kids, right, and then they're always, oh, that's that crazy girl, and they dare that little kid. One funny scene is where they dare this little kid. Kid is, hey, go knock on the door, go get her up, go wake her up, and stuff like that, and just to fuck with her.
She's like, get out of here! You guys don't know. Of course, it's all in Spanish, but
it's funny. Yeah, because it reminds me when I was a kid, and and our tios over in Mexico used to tell us because we had an uncle that he's mentally challenged in a major way, and so in Mexico they didn't understand mental, but didn't have the means to care for them, especially in pueblitos.
Yeah.
And
they
didn't have the resources.
They did. It was the necessaries, but when it came to the living conditions, it wasn't bad. But he also had a way. He also liked an environment, so it's a weird thing. It's not a cruel.
But the treatment,
thing,
that's what I'm saying is like the treatment wasn't there to help him out. But anyway, so my uncle, he was put in a small room, and he was black, and there was no light. He was blind. All right. And he always wore the same shirts, the same fucking pants, and he didn't have a belt. He had like this rope that it connected to the front part of his pants, went around his shoulder, and went connected to the back of his pants. In any case, but we'd always be scared to go into the room. And my uncle, go in there. Like, no, man, go in there. It's scary. My uncle would just sit on his little futon pad. He'd sway back and forth, and go. And he would just hum. It sounds fucking creepy just talking about it. But then my uncle, his brother, right? He was young, so he'd fuck with us, and he'd say, "Go in there," and, and then grab his hand, or something like that. And if you do it, he was crazy strong. He, it's like, you see in the movies where like, the mentally challenged person gets super strong. That's how my uncle was. And he'd grab your hand and it'd feel like a vice. And you're like, ah! You'd freak out. And then he'd let go eventually. He'd recognize your voice. And you run out. And then my uncle's just laughing. Ah!
But here, check it out,
messed
though.
up.
He knew when you were making fun of him because he will come out and slap the shit out of you if you're making fun of him. No, he knew. He wasn't like, he was mentally challenged, but he wasn't a stupid man. He knew, he still knew what's up. It's just his body was not cooperating with his mind. So,
and he couldn't speak either. So,
yeah, because he did. I remember he used to come out to the front door of the porch and he used to swing back and forth and look up into the sky, and I used to always wonder.
You can feel the heat and everything, yeah.
And I remember one time, being kids, you're punks, and so, you talk shit, and we were talking shit one day, and one of our cousins, I guess she's the one who ended up getting the end of it, because he came out, and he just, like, out of nowhere.
You done fucked up now!
Slapped her side of the head.
No
warning shots.
Shots. But anyhow, the point to it was... What's the point?
Motherfuckers fucking around. It's just, I don't know, man.
We're talking about...
But anyway, so Hector and Jesse, right? They're young Chicanos, in Oxnard. They just graduated high school. But one thing that this writer-director... this is the same writer that wrote the other movies, but he picked the right actors. Hector, which is the best friend.
And it's more than that, though. I mean, the whole movie, it was... basically Latino cast. I think maybe 2-3 characters that were white. He even went as far because there's this actor that he's Latino and he's a rapper too, down in SoCal. Este vato, I've seen him playing movies, obviously because of the tattoos in his face and all that. In the sense that the movie, when I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I thought I was not going to, because I was like, oh, here we go again, another movie that is gonna depict something that is not real. But the movie actually did have a lot of good, how should I say this? A lot of the models, a lot of the habits that we do or we say were in the movie. So I think that's why I enjoyed it very much. The plot is like every other plot. You have a ghost, or in this case, it was Poltergeist because he was possessed, right? The main character, Jesse?
Yeah.
Jesse?
El Jesse.
El Jesse.
El Jesse.
El Jesse, yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, I really liked it, the environment, what they were in, a lot of the shots that they did in the streets, you could tell they were actually in the neighborhood, because the tagging was legit. It was nothing like the movie Leprechaun,
oh god, Leprechaun in the Hood.
In the Hood, it wasn't nothing like that.
Some
where they try
fake
to
ass backgrounds, yeah.
So they've got better in the sense of creating the environment, at least for that feel. I mean, I could say that they shouldn't be making us seem like we live in those conditions, but I could tell where he was coming. Director, who was putting it together, put thought into it. And that's what made it good for me, because it was a lot of small details that you could relate to. So it was not so much of the plot, but it was more of the how they interacted, the habits they had, the familia, the whole, and even when they came with the gangsters. I mean, the last part was cool, and one of the gangsters, one of the cholos, was just blasting those brujas.
Oh, the shotgun?
Yeah, the shotgun. He's like, tra, tra.
He was just taking them. I was like, yeah, fucking light him up. And then he was just like, fucking get the fuck out of here. Yeah, and they don't get out of there. And they get stuck in the house with the witch's coven, and then they get fucking their best friend. She gets tossed to like the fucking glass ceiling. She gets fucked up.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Like, I mean, I like how the characters were, and it was realistic because it was young Latinos. They weren't gangsters. They weren't bangers. They were just young kids, growing up where they grew up.
And you could tell they were Latinos. You could tell they were like Mexicanos, or maybe there might be Salvadoreños or whatnot. They didn't cover that, but all around, the Latino vibe to it, which is,
and you can tell, like, in Jesse's room, you can tell he shares it with his grandma, because it's one of those rooms that they split in two, and his grandma, you can tell that's her bed and everything. And then his side was like, oh, like a young kid. Motherfucker's a little, well, he's clean because it was his grandma's room. She'd fuck his ass up. But yeah, and then you had the abuelita that freaks out and trying to help, and at one point tried to do brujeria and to help him. But the movie, I liked the movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it. At the end, like the very very end, it got a little too like what the fuck.
Yeah.
Like obviously they're getting chased. They go with the homeboys who try to find their friend Jesse, because he goes to the. By that point, he's already possessed. Towards obviously at the end of the movie, and they're trying to save him and find him, and he's at this big ass house, the Witch's Coven, which is at the end of the third movie, Paranormal Activity 3, and then that's when they go to the brother of one of the possessed kids earlier in the movie, where they're like, hey, you need to help us, and he goes, all right, and he goes with this other big homie, and then boom, they start putting out shotguns and guns. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, he lights some of those witches up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that
and
was
what's
cool.
funny, about that one dude with the shotgun, that homeboy, he, in East LA or in LA, they have Homeboy Industries. So they help, dudes that come out of prison, coming out the gang life, and they're helping them out and, to reestablish themselves. And, a lot of times for movies, when they need gangsters and stuff like that, the Hollywood, they'll send an agent there, and they get a lot of actors from there. So a lot of famous actors that we know now.
So that's where he was founded?
Talent Scout found him.
For the movie? For movies?
Yeah, for the movie and for other movies. I don't know if this was his first movie or another movie, but yeah, I liked Mark once. I actually did. I enjoyed it. The ending was just fucking stupid. It was just like, what the fuck? They're going through time travel and shit. Motherfuckers. It's a horror movie. Don't fucking time travel movie. Get out of here. But then, yeah, and then we go into...
That's true, though, in the end, right? Yeah, he worked to another... What did he work? But that was crazy, man. How that... I think they worked back to that one...
In the first movie.
Well...
It was the first movie with the white girl.
Oh,
before she kills her boyfriend.
Oh, is that what that is?
It's the ending of the first movie.
I didn't know that.
That's what he goes back in time in there.
Okay, well, you don't sabe nada de eso. Shit, man.
Yeah, horror shit. All day, every day. Talking about what the fuck endings. Then you go into that what the fuck movie, Planet Terror, by Robert Rodriguez. Now that one is fucking mutant zombies. I mean, it's kind of like a horror / comedy because that shit's just out. It's just crazy, like
That's
the way
a
the
good movie,
film is shot.
It's
a fun movie. I like watching it. But the main guy, El Rey, what's funny is the way the character's name is spelled, Elwray, instead of Elray, which is the name of, which means El Rey, the king. But that's the name of Robert Rodriguez company,
network,
El Rey Productions. Yeah. But he's doing his own thing, and he uses a lot of Latino actors, especially the most famous one, Machete. Shit, what's his real name?
Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo. No Trejo, no, Trejo. Dilo bien, cabrón.
Danny Trejo. So we mentioned
Johnny
like this
Trejo.
The main character, El Rey. So he's like this, like a greaser style thug, or he's like one of those tough guys. He's pretty badass. Like he's a fighter. He stabs and fucking shoots and.
Yeah, he's a rebel.
Yeah, he's the rebel, exactly. He's like the rebel without a cause, they say. And then he likes this one white girl that gets him in trouble. That's why he's in the movie. Palomita. I don't go by that name anymore. Anyways. Then she has no leg.
Cherry.
Yeah, you guys gotta just watch it. It's just nuts. You can even do a whole... Maybe one of these days we may do an episode just on Planet Terror and
Death Proof.
Yeah. Because they're crazy, but I like that character.
Oh, yeah. He was cool.
He wasn't like your full Chicano, blah, blah. He was Saul Holmes, but he was just like you said, a rebel. And, he comes from that background. You can tell that was his style.
Yeah, he actually kind of reminds me of my father. That's kind of how my father used to be like. Of course, a little more toned down in the sense of shooting guns and shit like that. I mean, he used to fight a lot, but the guns. He's like he always liked to fight with the fist, not the gun. But the thing what I like about him is that in the movie he is short. They make him look short. So that's for me. It's like, all right, cool, man. For the short people, I mean, I'm not short, but I'm on the smaller scale.
Scrappy.
So it kind of gives them that whole edge of what typically, you will see when it comes to that type of character, how they're portraying it and make them look, that rebel biker type of character, leather boots or leather boots and leather coat, a biker coat and shit like that. So yeah.
That's us, looking at these movies and looking at those main characters and and looking at the culture overall and how they depict. Only one of them really tanks it. Mm-hmm. They're lazy about it. They didn't treat it with respect. But everybody else, you can tell in all the movies they tried or they came from, it influenced what they were doing, and some did it better than others. But now, I mean, there's a ton of horror movies of Latinos, and I want to say just with Latinos, but Latino-based properties and characters, and and looking at that Chicana culture and everything. And obviously, there's a ton of horror movies, foreign language, or you have Guillermo del Toro that made a Hellboy movie and a bunch of other great ones, Pan's Labyrinth, and I can go on and on. It's a lot of great movies. So obviously, we just focus here like kind of like your popular U.S. type shit. I'm sure there's gonna be more coming in the time to come. And there's more to see, right? If you made your movie, what movie would you make based on like kind of what we talked about? What would it be? Just shoot off the top of your head. Be creative.
What would it be? Well, it'd be something like I would try to go with the feel of Dust to Dawn, that kind of dusty type of desert wise kind of setting. Being horror. Maybe some type of evil Mayan, god that is like he's like something like the Genie in the Lamp type of scenario, where this character's locked into some type of device that somehow unlocks and then poof, he comes out and he just brings terror, just like mayhem. You can't stop him. Whatever you do, you can't stop him. And then it gets to the point where in the end they kind of stop it, but it doesn't. It just kind of lingers there, and they have to build a life around this new type of evil that exists in the world. So it's not like they win, but they get to a point where they have to coexist and fight with it. So it would be a lot of kind of a demon type of style, but more focused on stories that is his story links back to those times. So it'll be you will have a lot of scenes that are terror in those times as well. So it would be modernized, but it keeps kind of flashing back and forth. But overall, it would be something that it's unleashed, kind of like Lords of the Ring, where that evil that I can't remember the character's name, but it exists for a while. Sauron until it's the way to beat it is over time.
To destroy the artifact,
Yeah. So something like that.
That's a cool. I would go with like a horror / comedy type thing. So like the main hero, he's just kind of like a rebel in a little way, but actually not too much with attitude. But he'd be a paletero man, because he can just ride that around the streets, and sell paletas to everybody. No one's he's a paletero man, right? He's just broke. Leave him alone. But he's also like the Latino, the LatinX fucking Ghostbuster. Kind of like a curador a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like he's really knowledgeable and stuff, and it's like just his gift. He has a natural gift to know about curses and demons. What he does, he helps people, right? He'll find out, because he's riding a paletera, he just listens to stories. Sometimes he helps out at some taco truck somewhere, and then he listens to stories, and sometimes through word of mouth, he's able to help like a family that has some kind of curse. Not curse a la Llorona, but some kind of curse or something that's going on, or he's hearing about missing people and it's about, some ghost that's doing it, right? He'll go and help this family, whether it's a white family. If it's a rich family, nah, fuck that. All families. After he helps them and saves the day, pay me with whatever you got. Food mostly. And then when he leaves the house, he's gonna spray paint his tag, the kukui, on every house. So not only he saves you, but he tags your house too.
Damn, man. Like, check it out, man. You're right here writing a whole fucking story, man. My shit, you're like instead of outshining me. Look, people.
But you gave me an idea about the curses.
Nah, get the fuck out of here, man. Look, he's a writer. He likes to write his shit, okay? So I draw. My shit's visual. His shit's on paper. That's why he's able to break this down. I'm like, damn, man. Fuck, man. You should have let me talk more.
Oh, you did.
No, just fine. Go ahead. No, it sounds cool. Anymore. It sounds cool, though, man. It sounds good.
So, yeah, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about this. You know, we've reached the end of the show. This is hella horror, you know, and it's a horror podcast. But we will be talking about, like, all the Puppet Master movies. And, you know, Mexicans in those movies. But we're going to be talking about that type of shit, you know. In any case.
What you need to do, folks, gente, mi raza, is find us on IG, TikTok, and our Facebook group page at Hella Horror Podcast. We're also on Twitter. Our handle is Hella Horror Pod.
Simon. So make sure you comment, you rate, review, follow, subscribe, and download our show wherever you get your podcast shows from. We're going to be there. We all over the place. We straight worldwide. Email us at hellahorrorpodcast@gmail.com with your suggestions, fan art, hate mail. Fucking, we'll accept it all.
My theory to it is if we don't get no haters, we're doing something wrong.
You guys have a good one. And we out. We're done talking.
A rato, sobres.
Peace.